Chapter 5. Chapter 8, Tactics, Fire Team Formations, Arrangements for the elements and soldiers in relation to each other. Squads and formation control, flexibility, and security. Leaders shows formations based on their analysis of the factor, emission, enemies, terrain, troops, and time. The Met to T. Figure 8-1 compares the firing team wedge of the fire file formation of the fire team leads are up to the formation to lead. Example, follow me as and do as I do. The soldier in the team must be able to see the leader. Wedge to the wedge is basic formation of the firing team. See figure 8-1 is in when the normal use of the basic fire time information of the control is easy. The flexibility is good. The firing capabilities and restriction allows immediate fire into all directions, and security is good. Fire team file. When fire team the file, when normally used close terrain, dense vegetation, limited visibility conditions, control easiest flexibility, less flexible than the wedge. Fire capabilities and restrictions allows immediate fires to the flanks, most of the fires to the rear, and security at least. On the left, you see the firing team wedge to the left and to the right, as in the automatic the triangle of the team leader and the automatic grenader to the left and to the right, and then followed by the rear right or left rifleman. The interval between the soldier and wedge formation is normally 10 meters. The wedge is expanded as the contract depending on the terrain, the rough terrain, visibility. Other factors may control the wedge difficulty. The fire teams modify the wedge normal intervals, reduce some so that all members can still see their team leader, and the team leaders can see the squad leader's. Sides of the wedge can contract at the point where the wedge reassembles the single file. When the moving is less rugged than the terrain, where the control is easier, the soldier expands and resumes the original position. The file information and file formation used in the fire team when terrain precludes the edge of the wedge. You file first team leader, automatic rifleman, then grenader, and then rifleman. The fire team formation of a file. Team leader, automatic rifleman, grenader, and rifleman. The arm defines the term as a group of individuals banded together and along with the organizational lines purpose of accomplishing a certain goal. The cohesion of the glue helps people together to make the team, and it helps soldiers develop sustained commitment to the result and accomplishment of the unit mission. The Army description of the cohesion includes this element bonding with developing a strong interpersonal relationship among the soldiers between them and their leaders. The commitment and dedication not only to the unit but within represents the values of the goals of the nation as well as resolves the shared determination of the soldiers. The leaders would work independently to accomplish the mission to sustain the capability over a long period. The cohesion is dependent in several factors. The common goal of people working together and effective communication. Mutual and assistance. 8-3 squad formations. The rifle squad. The most common rifle squad is 9 soldiers. With the file by the straight up the middle is squad leader, followed by 2 fire teams. And their team leaders, but with a team leader, a rifleman, automatic grenader, and followed from left to right and right to the left, grenade, automatic, and rifleman. The rifle squad fights 2 teams. The rifle squad fights as 2 teams. The squad has 1 squad leader, the 2 team fires, the 2 automatic riflemen, the 2 riflemen, and the 2 grenadiers. The squad formation describes the relationship between the fire teams and the squad. The squad column is squad most common formation. Here you see a squad column of the fire teams basically a practice of a wedge to the right or to the left, followed by a squad leader and team leader up the middle, and to the sides, a grenader and an automatic rifleman to left or right, and with the rifleman far in the behind. The squad column provides a good dispersion laterally in the depth of the sacrifice and control of the facility maneuver. The lead fire team is basic fire team. When the squad moves independently or as rear element of the platoon, the rifleman and the rear fire team provides rear security. The squad line provides maximum firepower in the front when the squad is acting on the base squad. The fire team on the right is the basic fire team. Basically, the wedge rides to the center. But the squad leader is in the middle. So you have your automatic, your team leaders, 2 in the front, 2 postal, with an automatic riflemen's on the outside it's next to the inside team leader, then further in the grenadiers, then the rifleman ends up the center squad leader. Squad line, the squad file will not travel in a common line squad when not traveling in a common column or squad, the lines travel in file. The squad file follows um, a team leader, squad leader, grenadier, automatic rifleman, rifleman, squad leader, team leader, grenadier, automatic rifleman, team leader, and rifleman. When the squad has the same characteristics of the fire to the team, when the squad leader desires to increase his control over the formation, he can move forward from the second of the firing position, one of the forward. He will move immediately available to make. The decisions will exert the greater moral discrepancy. Additional control over the formation can be provided by moving the team leader to the last position. Comparison of the squad formation, the characteristics are found in Table 8.2. Once again, Figure 8.6 is a team leader with a squad leader following or optional. Grenadier, automatic rifleman with a squad leader at the sixth position in normal, followed by a team leader and a grenadier, automatic rifleman, and a team leader optional to the second to the rear, followed by a rifleman. A comparison of the squad formation characteristics is found in Table 8.2. Squad formation characteristics. When normally used, squad primary formation. In a squad column, when normally used, the squad primary formation control is good. The flexibility, facility, maneuvers, food dispersion laterally into depth. The fire capabilities and restriction allows large volumes of fire to the flank, limited volume to the front. Security all around. Squad line, when normally used, the maximum firepower is required in the front. The control line is not used in a squad column. The flexible, limited maneuver capability. Both fire teams committed fire capabilities. All maximum immediate fire to the front. Security is good to the front and little to the flanks of the rear, flanks in the rear. On the squad file, when normally used, the close terrain, vegetation time, and visibility conditions, the control is easiest. The flexibility is most difficult information with which to maneuver. Fire capabilities allowed immediate to fire to the flank of the mask most of the fire to the front and the rear, and the security is the least. 8.4 Fire Team Squad Movement Techniques. The movement technique is manner the squad uses to traverse terrain. The selection of the movement technique is based on the likelihood of the enemy contact needed for the speed. The factors considered for each of the technique are control, dispersion, dispersion, and speed and security. It's seen in Table 8.3. The 8.3T movement technique traveling. Traveling, when normally used, contact not likely controlled more, the dispersion less, the speed the fastest, and the security the least. Traveling overwatch, when normally used, the contact possible control less, and the dispersion more, and the speed slower, and security more. Bounding overwatch, when normally used, the contact is expected, control is most, dispersion is most, and the speed is the slowest, while the security is the most. And the movement of the techniques are not fixed. The formation can be used with any formation. The movement of the techniques refer to the distance between the soldier and the teams vary based on the mission, enemy terrain, visibility, or other factors that affects the control. The soldiers must be able to see that their fire team and the squad leader must be able to see his fire team leaders, and leaders control the movement with the arm, hand, and signals. They radios only when needed. The platoon leader determines the directs which movement of the technique of the squad will be used. There are three movements techniques: traveling or traveling, overwatch, or bounding overwatch. Traveling is used if the contact of the enemy is not likely to the speed, or is not likely when the enemy is not likely or in speed is needed. Here you see squad traveling is in the squad leader, and there's 20 to plus and minus twice, and 20 leaders in the center, followed with an automatic team leader up front in a wedge formation, followed by the wedge formation to the right, and with a squad leader and a team leader 20 to 10 meters aligned, and another on a wedge to the left. The traveling overwatch uses the contact of the possible attached to the weapons most near the squad leader under this control, so can apply the quickly. Here you see is a rifle, a wedge to the right, with your rifleman being in your squad leader in the center, to 10 to 50, plus or minus 10 to 50 yards, with the team followed by a team leader and his wedge. The bounding overwatch is used to the contact aspect of the squad leader feels the enemy's movement, noise, reflection, fresh tracks over, or even a hunch when in the large open danger area must be crossed. See figure 8-9. The successive bounds, initial position, alternation bounds. Basically, squad successful alternation bounds. You see in the initial position, followed by the first move, second move, and the third move, and the bottom one, the alternation bounds, where the initial position will going from first to second and third and fourth moves. A split of the squads. The leads fire overwatches first. The squad scan of the enemy position. The squad leader usually stays over the watch the team. The trail fire bounds the signal of the squad leader when the team completes its bound prepared overwatch of the movement over the other team. Both teams must know that successful alternation bounds will be used which team the squad leader will be with. The overwatching team leader must now know in the route of the designation of the bound team. The bound team leader must know his team's designation of the route, possible enemy location to actions to take when they arrive there. He must also know where the overwatching team will be and how will they receive the instructions. The cover concealment of the bound team routines dictates that how as a soldier moves. The teams can bound successfully and alternately. Successive bounds are easily controlled. Alternate bounds can be faster. See figure 8-9. Squad success and alternate bounds. 8-5, the firing position. Infantrymen use the fire variety of hasty firing position. 1 soldier, 2 soldiers, 3 soldiers. Machine gun, medium, light, anti-tank, and 90 millimeter recoilless rifle. The soldier must construct a fighting position, protect, allow, and then to fire into the assigned sectors. The protection fighting position protects the soldier, providing cover through the sturdy construction and providing concealment through the position of the proper camouflage. The enemy must not be able to identify the position until the too late and has been effectively engaged. When the possible soldier should sight the position in the non-obvious places beyond the natural cover and easy to camouflage the location. The most important step in preparing a fighting position is to make sure that it cannot be seen. In construction fighting position, soldiers should always dig the position armpit deep. Fill the sandbags about 75% full. Revet excavation in sandy soil. Check stabilization wall bases. Inspect the test of the bit position daily. After heavy rain, after the reciting of the directory, indirect fires, maintain, repair, improve position as required. 7. Use the proper material correctly. 7. Sighting the engage the enemy. Soldiers must engage the enemy within the assigned sectors of the fire. 2. They should be able to fire out the maximum effective range of the weapons, maximizing grazing fire, minimal dead space. The squad leaders must be able to identify the best location for their position to meet the criteria. The leaders must also ensure the firing position is provided interlock firing there. This allows them to cover the platoon sector for the multiple position provided basis in the final protective fires. Preparing stage leaders must ensure that the soldiers understand when and how to prepare fighting position based on situation. Soldier normally prepares a hasty fighting position every time the platoon halts, except for the short security halts. Half of the platoon digs in while the other half mains security. 3. The soldier prepare the position and stages that require the leader inspect the position before moving on the next stage. Stage 1, the leader checks the fields of the fire, the prone position of the soldier, embraces the sector stakes, and see figure 8-10. These are 8-10. The fighting positions is, you see 2 helmets, 2 helmets wide with 2 M16 longs with primary sector grazing fire inside a trench at the clear fields of the fire with the sector stakes and primary grazing. On the outside of the sectors, secondary sectors and the clear fields, aiming stake and elbow holes. Sector stakes in place in primary sector. Grazing fire log and sandbags positioned between the sector stakes. The aiming staking required in place with the allowed limited visibility engagement of the target and elbow holes to be scooped out. Outline position traced on the ground. Fire holes of firing cleared with the primary and secondary sectors. The leading inspection of the position. Fighting the position preparation. The retaining walls of the parapets prepared. There is at least 1 helmet distance between the edge of the hole, the beginning of the front of the flak and the rear cover. This is another fighting position preparation. You see two sandbags, two M16s, and flank walls with two sandbags high, that one M16 followed by the rear wall, one M16. The front wall of the 2 and 3 sandbags are logs high. The soldier to the position in the back, about two M16s long. The flank wall is the same height, but only with the M16 long. The rear wall is one sandbag high with one M16 long. If used with the most held, but the firmly placed in the strong stakes is used 2 inches to 3 inches in diameter, 18 inches long. The leader inspects the position. Stage 3 is the position is dug in the dirt and thrown down forward of the parapet, retaining the walls while are placed down in the hard. The grenade sumps and storage areas, the proposal cover, the flank covers, and the rear cover. The hole is armature deep, and the position is dug armpit deep. The parapets are filled in order to the front, the flank, of the rear. The parapets are in the entire position or camouflage. The grenade sumps in the dug of the floor slope toward storage are the 2 rucksacks may be also dug in the rear wall and in the leader inspection of the position. In stage 4, overhead of the covered and camouflage lens of the surrounding terrain, the position is not detectable in the distance of 35 meters. The fixed 5, 6 foot 4, 6 inches in diameter, 2 M16 longs are placed on the center of the position, waterproofing the plastic bags, and ponchos are placed on these logs, and 6 to 8 inches direct and sand are put on the logs. Overhead of the cover, the bottom of the position is camouflaged. The leader inspects the position, the type of fighting position, the number of personnel, types of the weapons, and the type of time available terrain are the main factors dedicated to the time of the position. A hasty fighting position, shoulder prepare, and the type of the position when in little or no time of the prior to the fighting position are located behind whatever the covering is available. It should give frontal protection of the direct fire, with allowing the fire to prevent oblique. The hasty position must consist of simply the rucksack placed beside a tree or a large rock. The protection of the indirect fire, the hasty fighting position should be in small depressions. The hold at least 18 inches deep. The term hasty position did not mean this is no digging. Even though there is only a few minutes of the prone, shelter can be scraped or out of the drug or provided some protection. The time position suited by the ambush of protection, overwatching elements during the raids and attacks. Hasty position can also be first step of the construction for the elaborate positions. A hasty fighting position is one of the soldier fighting position is in 8:14. You see the guideline behind some stones. One soldier fighting position, the type of the position allows the choice of the use of cover. The hold usually needs the large enough for the soldier his or her gear. If he does not secure the 2 soldier position, the one soldier fighting position must allow soldiers to fire in the front of the oblique of the behind the frontal cover. This is dug in one soldier fighting position, 2 soldier fighting position. A 2 soldier fighting position can be prepared in close terrain. It can be used in the grazing fire, mutual supported, extended no further than the adjacent position. It can be used to cover the dead space just in front of the position. One of both ends of the hole is extending around the side of the frontal, charging all the hole is this way. It lets the soldiers see better and have greater sectors of the fire of the front. Also, during the reset the eating periods, one soldier can watch the entire sector while the other sleeps and eats. If they're receiving fire from the front, they can move to gain the protection of the frontal cover, moving from about 1 meter. The soldier continue to find his targets in front of during the lulls of the enemy fire. This type of the position requires more digging and harder to camouflage. It also better to get an enemy hand grenade. See figure 8:16. 2 soldier fighting position dug in. If any 8:6 covering, concealment, and camouflage. If enemy can see you, he can hit you with his fire. So you must be concealed with the enemy observation. He can cover the enemy while terrain does not provide natural cover and concealment. You must provide area covering natural and man-made materials of the camouflage yourself, your equipment, your position. Cover the protection from the bullets, fragments of the exploding rounds, flame, nuclear effects, biological, chemical agents. See figure 8:17. Cover can conceal your enemy from observation. Cover can be natural or man-made. Natural covers include such as logs, trees, stumps, and ravines and hollows. Man-made includes such things as fighting positions, trenches, walls, rubble, and craters. Type 17 cover. Even the smallest dispersion of the fold of the ground can give us some cover. Look over the use of every bit of the cover of the terrain. In combat, you need the protection of enemy direct and need for. In combat, you need protection from the enemy in direct and indirect fire. To get this protection, the defense builds the fighting position, man-made cover to be added to the natural cover afforded for the terrain. To get the protection from the enemy fire in the offense when the moving, we use the routes to put the cover on when you place when the enemy is known and thought to be. The use the ravines, gullies, hills, and wood areas, walls, and other cover to keep the enemy from seeing you and firing at you. Avoid opening the areas. Do not skyline yourself in high hilltops and ridges. The troops moving along a ravine. The concealment is anything you hide. Anything that hides you from the enemy observation. Concealment does not protect you from the enemy fire. Do you think you're protected from the enemy fire just because it's concealed? Concealment, like over, can be natural made, and natural concealment includes such as bushes, grasses, trees, and shadows. If possible, natural concealment should be not disturbed. Man-made concealment includes such things as battle dress, uniform, camouflage, nets, face paint, natural paint material that has been moved to the original location. 7 of the man-made concealment must be blended in natural concealment provided in the terrain. Little discipline, most noise discipline, movement discipline, and use of the camouflage contributing concealment. Little discipline, control the use of lights of the night as such as things not smoking in the open, not walking around the flashlight on, not using a vehicle headlights. Noise discipline, taking action to deflect sound generated your unit, such as operating equipment away from the enemy. The possible using of the methods to communicate to do not generate sound, arm, hand, or signals. Movement discipline restricts movement of the round of the fighting position unless necessary around the routes of the lack covered in concealment. And defense build a well camouflage fighting position. Avoid moving about the offensive. Conceal yourself and your equipment with the camouflage. Move in the woods on the terrain as gives the concealment. Darkness cannot be hid. Darkness cannot hide you from the enemy observation in either offense or defense. In either offense or defense. The enemy night vision device other than detection must let them find in the enemy's night vision devices other detection means to let them find you in both daylight and darkness. Camouflage and anything that uses yourself, your equipment, your position, and looking like they are in both natural and man-made material can be used in the camouflage, changing and improve the camouflage event. The time may be changed. Improvements depends on the weather and the material used. Over time, the camouflage can be lost and effective faded. Likewise, man-made camouflage may wear off and fade. Whether those things happen, you and your equipment of the position may not be made in surroundings. Then they might take it easier to spot you. Camouflage considerations. Movements are drawing attention when given the arm and hand signals and walking about your position. Your movement can be seen by the naked eye at a long range. The defense stay low and move only in the necessary. If the defense may only on the covered concealed routines, positions must not be where the enemy expects to find the built position on the side of the hill, away from the road junctions. Lone buildings covered in the concealed placements. Avoid open areas. Outline shadows may reveal the position of the equipment. Take into the air. The ground observes the outline. Shadows can be broken up within camouflage when moving and stay in the shadows when possible. Shine may also attract the enemy's attention in the dark. Maybe a light such as a burning cigarette or flashlight. In the day, can be reflected light of the position, polished surfaces, shiny, messy gear, worn helmet, welded windshield, watch crystal. Band or exposed skin. The light of the reflection may help the enemy detect your position. To reduce the shine, cover your skin and clothing in the face paint. Also dull the surface equipment, vehicles, and paint, mud, and sometimes the camouflage material. In nuclear attack, in a nuclear attack, darkly painted skin can absorb the thermal energy, may burn more readily than bare skin. Shapes, outline, forms. The shape of the helmet is easily recognized. The human body is easily recognized. Use of the camouflage concealment. The breakup shapes blended within their surroundings. May be careful not to overdo. The color of your skin, uniform, equipment may help the enemy to detect your colors. Contrast of the background. For example, the green uniform will contrast with the snow-covered terrain. The camouflage you and yourself equipment with the blend in the surroundings. Duration of the spreading of vehicles, equipment over a wide area is usually easier for the enemy to detect what they are in bunched and so and spread out. The distance between you and your fellow soldiers will vary with the terrain, degree of the visibility, enemy situation. Distances will not normally be set unit leaders by unit leaders, but or by unit standing operating procedures. SOP. Firing team dispersed. H. How to camouflage. Before camouflaging, studying the terrain and the vegetation of the area in which they are operating, then pick the use of the camouflage material that best blends in with the air, moving from one area to the other. Changing the camouflage is needed for the blending of the surroundings. Take the grass, leaf, brushes, other material from the location applied to the uniform equipment to the face on the point of the skin. 820 camouflage soldiers. 2. Fighting position. When building a fighting position, camouflage in the dirt from it. Camouflage dirt used in the frontal flank and rear overhead of the cover the camouflage bottom of the hole prevents detection from the air. If necessary, to access the dirt away from the position to the rear. Do not cover the camouflage. Much of the camouflage material actually discloses the position. Get the camouflage material from the wide area. An area striped off with all position vegetation may be drawn. The attention. Do not wait until the position is complete into camouflage. Camouflage the position as you will build. Do not leave any shiny light colored objects, leaving it behind. Hide messes, caps and mirrors, food containers, white underwear or towels. Do not remove your shirt to the opening. Your skin might shine and be seen. Never use fires where the chance of the flame will be seen over the smoke will be smelled or by the enemy. Cover up the tracks, other signs of movements when the camouflage is complete. Inspect the position for the enemy side. This should be done within 35 meters forward of the position. Check the camouflage periodically to see that it is natural looking and conceals the position. When the camouflage becomes ineffective, changing and improve it. Helmets. Camouflage your helmet with the issued helmet cover. The making cover of cloth or burlap is colored and blended with the terrain. The cover should not fit closely with the flaps folded under the helmet, helmet or left foot hanging. The hanging flaps may break up the helmet outline. The leaves of the grass of the strix can also be tacked to the cover. The camouflage bands, stinging burlap stripes, and rubber bands to hold these in place. And there no material to help the cover disguise the helmet surface the irregular patterns of the paint and the mud. Uniforms. Most uniforms can be are already camouflaged. However, it must be necessary to add camouflage to make the uniform blend better with the surroundings. To do this, both mud in the uniform attach the leaves and grass and small branches to it. Much of the camouflage, however, may draw attention when operating in snow-covered ground. Wear off the whites if they use to help the print, and the snow if the over whites are not an issue to use the white. Uniforms. Most uniforms are already camouflaged. However, it is necessary to add camouflage to make a uniform blend in with the surroundings. To do this, put the muddy uniform and attach the less grass and small branches to it. Much of the camouflage over the main all attention to operating snow-covered ground. Wear over whites if used to help the blend in with the snow. Over whites are not used. Use the white cloth such as a white bed sheet to get the same effect. 7. Skin exposed. The skin reflects that may draw enemies' attention. Very dark skin, natural oil will reflect light. Use figure 824 and table 84 for guidance applying the face of the paint of the camouflage and skin. 822 colors used in camouflage. Sand and light green desert dry areas. Learn white or light. Learn in white white for snow covered terrain. Though learn in light green for vegetated areas. 822 camouflage colors of camouflage. When applying camouflage, working for the body in pairs with the help of each other. Apply the two-color combination of the camouflage to stick in the irregular pattern. Paint shiny areas, forehead, cheekbones, nose area, and chin with dark color. Paint shadows around the eyes, under the nose, in each chin with the light color. In addition, with face paint the exposed skin with the back of the neck and the arm and the hands. All of the hands are normally camouflaged with the arm and the hand signals are to be used. Remove all jewelry and further reduce the shine or reflection. When camouflage sticks is not issued, use burnt cork or bark, charcoal, lamp, black and light colored mud. 8-4. Camouflage skin. Camouflage material, skin light dark with the shiny areas, forehead, cheekbones, ear, nose, and chin, and shady areas around the eyes and under the nose and under the chin. Loam and And loam and light green sticks used in areas of the green vegetation. Use loam in shiny areas and use light green in the shadow areas. Sand and light green at sticks. Use the areas lacking green vegetation. Use light green and use sand. Loam and white. Use only snow-covered terrain. Use loam and use white. Use loam for shiny areas and use white for shadow areas. Burnt and cork bark and charcoal lamp black. Use camouflage sticks. Use if camouflage sticks are not available. Use in shiny areas. Do not use in shadow areas. Light colored mud. Use camouflage sticks. Do not available. Do not use in shiny areas. And use in shadow areas. Chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, CBRN, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, standing mission order protective posture, MOP-P, multiple service technique, procedures, nuclear, biological, chemical protection. All soldiers must need familiar standard MOP levels. The system is flexible, subordinate. Leaders can modify their unit MOP level to meet mission needs. Standard MOP levels allow commanders to increase the decrease levels of protection throughout the use of readily understood pro words. So here you see the mop. Basically, these are standard mops with the bag, the gas mask, the boots, and mop ready 0. Mop 1 shows mop 2. Boots. Mop 3 gas mask and bag, and mop 4 gas mask, gloves, and bag, and whatnot. Commanders determine whether the protective posture is the subordinate will use and then direct the units to assume the MOP level. The following the standard protective posture assumes the personal area carrying the individual's decontamination kit, the M8 and M9 detector paper, the NAC protective mask, the MOP ready personnel carry the protective mask within their load, carrying the equipment, the individual MOP gears to get labeled and stored no further back than the logistics site. Bridge support area is ready to be brought forward. The individual will need pushing the MOP gear ready forward should not exceed 2 hours. Units of the MOP ready for a highly vulnerable persistent agent attacks automatically upgraded the MOP 0 when they determine that they are notified by the chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear weapons they have been used. There a threat exists for the chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear weapons use. When the MOP is ready and persistent, will the field expedition items such as wet weather gear identified for the use of the unanticipated chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear attack. The MOP 0 soldiers carry the protective mask with their loading carrying equipment. The standard battle dress for the overgarment over the IPE making up the soldiers' MOP gear is already available. To be considered readily available, the equipment must be either carried by each of the soldiers or stored within the arm's reach within work area or vehicle or fighting position. Units in the MOP 0 are vulnerable to persistent agencies attacks and automatically upgraded to the MOP 1 when they determine that they are notified persistent with chemical weapons they have been used and the threat for use of the chemical weapons has risen. When directed, MOP 1 soldiers immediately done with the battle dress over the garment in the hot water over garments can be unbuttoned and the battle dress over the garment can be worn directly over the underwear. The M9 and M8 chemical detection paper is attached over the garment. The MOP 1 provides the MOPP1 provides a great deal of protection against the persistent level automatically assumed for the chemical weapons have been employed by the area of the operations directed by the higher commands. Table 8.5, the availability of the wear of the MOP equipment. The MOP ready to carry the mask, ensure the IPE is nearby. The MOP 0 carry the mask, ensure the IP is available. MOP 1 done over the governments. And MOP 2 add protective boots. MOP 3 add protective mask. MOP 4 add protective gloves. IP is available for the soldier within the IPE must be available to the soldier within 2 hours. The second must be available in the second set must be available in 6 hours. The IPE must be within arm's reach of the personnel. MOP 2 soldiers put on the chemical protective footwear covers the CPFC and the GVOS's field expedition item, for example, vapor barrier boots, the protective helmet cover worn as the MOP 1 over the garment. Just it may be left unbuttoned. The trousers may remain closed. The MOP 3 soldiers will be protective mask and hood flexibility is built into the system to allow soldiers relief. The MOP 3, the particularly hot weather soldiers can over the garment jacket roll the protective mask of the head, hood of the ventilation. The trousers may be remained. The MOP 4 soldiers will completely encapsulate themselves, closing their other garments, rolling down, adjusting the mask hood, putting on the chemical biological, radioactive, and nuclear rubber gloves for the cotton liners. The MOP 4 option provides the highest degree of chemical protection. The MOP option and the MOPP option includes the mask. Only the worn is in long sleeve duty for uniform for limited skin protection. The mask only commands may be given in these situations when the riot control agencies may be employed, and no chemical biological threat exists. If in downward vapor hazard of the non-consistent chemical biological agent, caution mask only is not normally appropriate. The command will blister nerve agents that are involved. Automatic masking act of immediately masking, assuming that MOP 4 will encounter the chemical biological attack indicators. Before chemical biological weapons used in conformed personnel will do not mask their high probability of chemical biological attack. When chemical agents have been employed, commanders at levels may establish the masking criteria with the operations orders and the standard operation procedures. Once the information is disseminated, the personnel will mask assume the MOPP4 automatically whenever the use of events occurs. Automatic masking criteria should be used in the commander as decision tool in case is based on the chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear intelligence risk and assessment of the TT. Subordinate may be upgraded to the MOPPP levels, adding automatic masking criteria in the discretion. High probability chemical biological attack indicators can be included. The following must be reacted to by automatic masking. Sound of a chemical agent alarm or vocal alarm, a positive reading of the chemical agent detector paper, the CAM or a CAM, personal experience systems of chemical agents, poisoning, seeing other mask of the MOP3 or M4, unknown smoke, dead animal, birds, unknown liquid coming from the air, laying on the ground on the non-rainy day, bombs, shell popping, non-exploding, the most bomb artillery rounds would. Tactical foot marches and foot care, transport troops from one place to another to any available means. This inherits all material operating and successful moves the place of the equipment in either destination of the proper time, ready in the combat. Troops movement and conduct of the foot or motor marches on rail, or air, water. Therefore, various combinations of the method. Therefore, many historical examples for famous successful foot marches. The grueling foot march that took place in the Sicilian campaign of the 20th and to the 21st July 1948, and good example of successful World War II foot march. 3rd Battalion, 30th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division performed in this march. The battalion was directed to move the foot across the mountain of the Argonne to Santa Stefano to enter the coordinated attack on the enemy forces of San Stefano. The battalion made the record-breaking 54-mile cross-country continuous march in only 33 hours. 2 hours are available, and the battalion committed with an attack on the San Stefano would result in capture. A second example, movement of the large elements of the 30th U.S. Army during the Battle of Ardennes, 1944, stop the enemy counteroffensive. And on 16th of December 1944, when the 3rd U.S. Army was preparing to attack Siegfried line of Germany, as the Battle of the Bulge commenced. And by the 19th of December, the German attack had reached such a large portion of the 3rd U.S. Army was directed to cease attack in the east and turn north. The 3rd U.S. Army shifted the troops from the Saarbrücken and Saarbrücken Saarbrücken area to the Luxembourg, Belgium area in a distance of 100 road miles. The Third Corps launched the new attack of the 0600 on 22nd December 1944. Consideration conducting a foot march. March discipline includes observing and enforcing rules and instructions that govern the unit of the march. This includes the formation distance between the element, speed, and the effect of the concealment of the cover. Specific controls, restrictions such as water, light, and noise discipline are included. March discipline, culmination, effective training, which results in enthusiastic teamwork among all soldiers of the unit. Water discipline must be observed by all members to ensure the best health and marching efficiency. Following the rules must be adhered. Drinking plenty of water before each march to aid a sustenance during movement. Drink only treated water from the approved sources. Drink water often before, during, and after the march. Or drink small quantities of water rather than gulping and rapidly intaking. Drink water even when not thirsty. Drink water slowly to prevent cramps and nausea. Avoid spilling water. Refill canteens at every opportunity. The human body does not operate efficiently with adequate liquid intake. When soldiers are encouraged to strenuous activity, excessive amounts of water, electrolytes are lost by the perspiration. More water is lost through the normal body of the functions such as the respiration and urination, which create a liquid imbalance in the body. Dehydration can occur with both conditions unless the water immediately replaced by the soldier rest before the continuing activities. Deficient liquid and salt intake during the hot weather can result in heat injuries, danger of dehydration, and preventing of the cold region as it is in hot and dry areas. The deficiencies is that in hot weather and soldier is aware of the body losses of liquid salt through the perspiration. When the soldier is bounded up in the many layers of clothing during the cold weather, he can't see perspiration, difficult knowing the condition that exists. The perspiration is rapidly absorbed and heavy, and clothing evaporates and rarely visible on the skin. Salt and feeds to compensate the daily salt requirement. Additional intakes of salt should be under the direction of supervision of the physician and physician assistant. If pure water is not available, water in canteens can be treated with adding water purification tablets. See Field Matter 2110, Field Hygiene and Sanitation for the best methods of purifying water. If the unit is forced to traverse in chemical, biological, radio, nuclear, contaminated area due to the practical situation, water consumption increases, forced dehydration becomes necessary. Leadership levels must try to prevent heat injuries brought on the physical activity of the chemical, biological, radioactive, nuclear event. Foot care during the march is extremely important since the feet are enclosed with a heavy rigid footwear during the most working hours and are consistently in action. Good hygiene measures include bathing frequently, using foot and powder, wearing properly fitted footwear to allow the ventilation, correctly trimming toenails. The care of minor foot ailments caused by the march should be given by the most attention. Many major conditions requiring hospitalization and disability have resulted in neglect and maltreated. Minor conditions. Condition is accomplished progressively. Increase the distance to be marched from day to day. March is a good way to strengthen the feet of the legs. Running alone will not suffice. The arch and ankle can be combined with performing simple exercises such as raising the high on the toe, standing on the towel, or using the toes to roll the towel back under the arch. Certain preventive measures can be implemented to avoid painful from the problems. Both marches and trim toenails at least every 2-3 weeks, depending on individual needs. Cut toenails short, square, and straight across. See Chapter 4, Personal Hygiene for added details. Keep feet clean and dry and use the foot powder. Wear clean, dry, unamended, good fitting socks, preferably cushion-soled with seams and knots on outside. Nylon polypropylene sock liner can reduce friction and add protection. Carry an extra pair of socks. Carry fit new boots. When getting used to the new pair of boots, alternate with another pair. Tape vulnerable foots as before wearing. During halts, lie down on the feet evaluated. And if time massage the feet, apply the foot powder, change the socks, and medicate blisters. Cover over the blisters, class abrasion with the absorptive bandages. Obtain the relief of the swelling, feet and slightly loosened boot laces. When they are crossed with their arch foot, the arch or after the marches, repeat the procedure for the care of the feet and wash with dry socks and dry boots. Medicate blisters, abrasions, corns, and calluses. Inspect the painful feet for sprains, improving the fitness of the socks and boots. And feet can develop in red, swollen, tender skin along with the sides of the feet from the prolonged marching, which could cause the blisters. Therefore, feet require aeration of elevation, rest, and wide foot area. Prevention major foot problems, keeping the feet clean. Formation of blisters, abrasion from the dirt of the perspiration can cause infection, serious injury. If possible, give the feet a daily foot bath. If you feel cool water seems to reduce the sensation of the heat and irritation after washing and drying the feet. The most common foot injuries that occur in the foot marches include blisters, abrasion caused by the improperly conditioned ill-fitting footwear, socking, improperly maintained footwear, heat and moisture. They are normally caused by the friction pressure and are opposed to the impact. To clean a blister, wash gently around in soap and water and be careful not to break the skin. Cover the blister with absorbent adhesive bandage or similar dressing extending beyond the edge of the blister. Applying the dressing, but dress not outside of the dressing entire of the foot with the foot powder, just enough of the foot power since it can be hardened and become irritating. Foot powder lessens the friction on the skin, prevents the raw edges of the adhesive plaster of the adhering to the socks. Adhesive plaster should be smoothing so it can serve the second skin. To carefully inspect the foot, other problems areas that are red and tender that may need protection from adverse plasters. Cover abrasion cuts in the foot and absorb the adhesive bandage for the rapid healing. An emergency medical personnel can inject tincture or benzoin into the blister and prevent the further abrasion and loss of skin. Foot perspiration decompens skins and causes foul odor. The skin between the toes usually becomes white and soft and rubs off easily if prone to abrasions. Treatment consists of washing thoroughly, drying feet, and applying foot powder to the skin, especially between the toes and the inside of the sock. An athlete's foot usually occurs between the toes and on the sole of the foot and the points of the contact with the skin and footwear. In mild cases, the athlete's foot can be treated by applying foot powder daily. If fungicide cream is available, it can be used directly on the affected spot by applying the foot powder to the rest of the affected foot. If applications of the foot powder and cream do not heal the infection, an aid man or surgeon should be consulted. Frostbite is freezing in the body and due to the exposure to the below freezing temperatures. See Chapter 4, Field Sanitation Prevention Medicine Field Craft for more details. Prevention: frostbite. Wear enough clothing for the protection against cold and wind. Face must be protected during the high winds and exposed to the aircraft. Proper propeller blast. Clothing and body must be kept dry to avoid persevering with performing heavy work in the cold. Soldiers should be remove outer layers and clothing, then replace them with work and finish. Socks should be changed when the feet become moist. Cold metal should not be touched with bare skin. In extreme low temperature, to do so means loss of skin. Adequate clothing shelter must be provided during inactive times. Face, fingers, toes, and ears should be exercised and massaged to keep them warm to detect any numb or hardness, and the body system should always be used. The soldiers should find partners and observe each other for signs of frostbite and for mutual aid when the frostbite occurs. And any small frozen spots should be thawed immediately using bare hands and other sources of body heat. Some cases of frostbite may be superficial, involving only skins and freezing extended below the skin. It demands more involved treatment to avoid lessening the loss of the body parts and fingers and toes and hands and feet. Often there is no pain. Some soldiers must observe each other for signs. Since the difficulty to distinguish between superficial and deep of the frostbite, a soldier should assume the injury to be deep, therefore serious. If numbness has been for a short time, the frostbite is probably superficial. For the discussion of frostbite and the treatment, see Chapter 4, Field Sanitation Prevention Medicine Field Craft. Immersion foot and trench foot are thermal injuries that result in severe cold weather exposures of 32 to 50 below 50 degrees in damp, wet, and environmental field sanitation prevention medicine field craft for further details. Attributing cause of immobility of the limbs is sitting in the standing insufficient construction of the body parts due to the bolt and socks of the other garments. Trench foot is similar to the gradual frostbite since the primary causes are the same. The only difference is in the degree of the cold. In early stages of the trench foot, feet and toes are pale and cold and numb and stiff. Walking becomes labored. If preventing action is not taken at this stage, the feet will swell and become painful. Extremely case of the trench foot flesh dies and amputation of the foot or leg may be needed. Because of the early stages of the trench foot are not painful, the soldier must be alert to prevent it. The further discussion of immersion foot or the trench, including the treatment, see Chapter 5, or field sanitation, prevention, medication, field craft. Stress and fractured muscle injuries need time to heal. The affected area must rest for 2 to 3 weeks until the pain is gone, followed by the slow return to active and to avoid recurring injury. Person who have had an injury are more likely to be injured. The best form of treatment for the type of injury is to prevention. This can be accomplished by the condition program to ensure the major muscles are properly stretched and warmed up before marching. Care for the boots to drying after the use, avoiding loose shape of the charting of the leather. This can be done by placing the warm cloth in the boot, and maybe by then that avoids the rapid drying. The preventing the moist leather and the freezing during the winter. The boots should be placed in the sleeping bag or used in the headrest. The properly fitted boots are ensured in checking for the space between the end of the great toe and the toe of the boot is in the width of the thumb. If unlaced boot, there should be enough space under the lower edge of the tongue to be inserted in the index finger. The poorly fitted boots can cause blisters, abrasion, calluses, and corns. Pressure is caused by the boots being too small. Friction is caused by the boots being too large. If the tops of the toes are involved, the cap is too low or too stiff. If the ends of the toes are affected, this boot is too short and too loose and laced. If the sides of the big or little toes are become irritated, the boot is too narrow. Irritation of the heel may be caused by the boot being too long, too loosely laced, or too wide of the heel space. Properly laced boots prevent blisters and proper blood flow and as in the foot. Laces can assume the seesaw action, which can produce a long blister across the instep. Preventing blisters, avoid lacing over in the instep. Avoid broad laces should be used in the extra pair of shoulders be carried. Check for the properly fitted socks before standing within weight of evenly distributed on both feet. If the sock fit correctly, no fitness of the fullness should exist. If the wool cushion sole sock is best because it offers a good foot protection. Soles should allow 3/8 of an inch of shrinkage of new socks. Therefore, they are too large to wrinkle inside of the shoe or rub of the feet and cause blisters and abrasions. Socks that are too small wear quickly and reduce blood flow in the foot. Wear 2 pairs of socks when breaking in the new boots and dressing sock underneath the wool socks. Socks must be changed daily. Dirty socks are conductors of the heat that allow the warmth to escape. Socks should be washed in lukewarm water to preserve the fiber. Hot weather can cause them to shrink. When the socks become damp, they can be dried, and by placing them inside the shirt by the daily, socks should be completely dry before wearing. If not possible to wash the socks, they should be changed, and dirty socks should be dried and nailed within the hands to remove the dirt and the hardness. Key to defeating an improvised explosive device. Key to defeating an improvised explosive device. The key to defeating an improvised explosive device: vehicle dispersion 75 meters to 100 meters greater makes it more difficult to target to avoid it correctly. His separation results in earlier detention and likelihood that the enemy will not get away. Let them know that you are ready. The enemy should look for an easy mark that he wants to get in. If he wants to get away, show him that you are not an easy target. Know the indicators: bag piles of rocks, piles of dirt, and or beyond the side of the road. If you do not like what you see, trust your instinct. Stop, turn around, go another way. Report observation through the chain of command. Let your experts check it out. Verify the route and time and speed of the travel. We know the enemy is watching us attempting to determine our patterns, making every attempt to vary this pattern. Never take the same route twice in 2 days. The enemy placed in the improved explosive device is therefore a reason that he is targeting you. Also have front and rear security out. Roll up and remove HMM, MWV, and FTM FMTV canvas so you can see behind you and audit the pay attention for whether to pay attention to where are going. Determine who was and what and the security responsible before you are moving face out. The determine movement and constantly scan aside sectors of fire. Many ambushers are initiated with an RPG shot from the rear. Report security and reduce the cache sites. The enemy is drawing a supply of explosives from somewhere. Leave the reduction of the site of the EOD mark of the report. Travel in convoys of 3 or more vehicles. The enemy may not detonate the improvised explosive device if he believes that he will be caught. It was very difficult to successful attack for 3 or more vehicles if they are widely dispersed. Key to identifying an improvised explosive device. Identifying an improvised explosive device can be disguised to look at an object and the function through the multiple action. An improvised explosive device is only limited by the bomber's imagination capabilities. An improvised explosive device are unpredictable, extremely hazardous to all, and including the bomber. Be aware of the dual improvised explosive device. Devices are camouflaged with the bags. Various types of resemble garbage or along roadways. Devices are buried in the roadbed. Devices are in place with an opening to slow and stop the convoys to kill zone. Actual devices that are obscured along the route of the travel. Devices are thrown fired over the pass from the roadside of the front of the approaching vehicles in the middle of the convoy. Devices usually grenades and the rocket-propelled grenades. Devices are concealed with the potholes in the road covered by the dirt and previous initial improved the explosive device location along main supply routes. Alternate supply routes targeting convoys along the unimproved roads. Target patrols. The recover vehicle-borne and improvised explosive device are used to gain access, detonate, in close proximity to compound buildings. They are also often used against patrols and logistics sites. Suicide attackers, suicide vests possibly employed by women, are usually close proximity to coalition forces. Chapter 9.